So pricing. When Nico and Oliver came to me, they're like, "Oh, Chris, you have to do a quick blurb and pricing on the Slack." I was quite like, "How do I do this?" Because I start searching on YouTube, websites, and it's just a bunch of stuff. And I'm just there like, where the hell do I start? So just a quick FYI, if you think it's gonna be a bunch of maths equations and stuff, that's not me. That's standard the engineering building. I think Oliver probably knows where he is. Yeah, we can do that later. We're in a business school, so it's gonna be a nice and simple, PowerPoint explanation. So that's gonna be quite slow. But yeah, can anyone tell me what they think pricing is? Any idea?
How much you pay for an item.
Good. Getting there. Anyone else?
A representation of the value of your product or service.
That's close. I like the word value because in fact, it's not a number. As I said, we're not going to be talking about maths here. It's a result of a mix of marketing, brand, promotion, desirability. And I want to touch on that key word, desirability. It's all about creating value, as you touched on. You want to know what your customers think of your product. How can you increase that value? Because that will ultimately affect where you can list your price and how much you can charge your customers. So startups treat pricing as a math problem. Yes, I'm going to keep on talking about maths. It is not about maths. There's a lot more that goes into where you can list your price. And it's the most important decision you'll make, especially as a startup. Where you list your price will affect your costs, will affect your profits, and affect how far you can go. And companies often fail to assess the value of their products. Once again, value. You're going to have to know how you can increase this value, so then you know what optimal level you can provide your prices at. So, getting started. How do you go about setting this price? A wise man once said, reality is often disappointing. And yes, especially in the startup market, it is quite a tough market. So it is complicated. But we think setting price is a rational economics problem where supply meets demand. If supply is low, prices go high. If demand is high, prices go high. But in fact, it's nothing like that. And I was quite surprised when I found out because I've done economics. I come from an economics background. I thought price is, setting prices business is all about supply and demand, but in fact, it's not entirely. So yeah, as I said, pricing is not a math problem; it's a judgment problem. And startups face a variety of issues. And I want to touch upon the finite supply point, especially as a tech company, where you have, so for instance, if you want to make an application, your supply will be really low, and you can't really leverage it against other competitors of benchmark. And in essence, you don't really know where you should be listing your price, as there's nothing to compare it to, which I believe lots of you will probably be going through. So, yeah, I just found this quote. I thought I quite liked it. If you picked your price once and never change it, it's probably wrong. If you look at many companies, prices are constantly changing, go up and down. If you've picked one price and you've kept it the same, it's probably not going to work from what I've found. So, perceived value. Anyone know what perceived value is?
What people think your value is.
That's close. Anything else? No. All right. So it's the gap between your price and how much value customers think it delivers. Oh God, why isn't it working? Right, so your laptop's a bit behind. Okay, so it's easy to assume if your sales are low, you need to cut prices. If you look at your performance and perhaps your sales are not going up, you obviously want to make a change in your price. But it's not entirely that. However, in this case, if the gap between price and perceived value does not exist or is not large enough, that is the main reason why your sales would not be going as you want them to go. You have to create a value. You have to try and make your product seem valuable to your customers to drive sales and obviously be more successful. So therefore, how can I increase my perceived value? There was a good example online I found is Airbnb, obviously one of the leading hospitality businesses. What started off as, they took pictures of people's rooms. No one actually was buying or seemed convinced about the rooms. So they had to think, well, okay, what do we do now? So they relooked the whole process and they put more emphasis into their pictures. They made the rooms look, a lot better, got better pictures of it. And as a result, sales went massively up and Airbnb became the business as we know it today. And so, yeah, let your price tell a story. I saw this sense of £50 bottle of wine is better than a £10 one. I mean, if I'm paying £50, I kind of want it to be better than a £10 one. So it's going to be a bit of a waste of money. But effectively, price is a proxy for quality. And wherever you put your price at will make customers think, oh, okay, is it a valuable product? Is it not a valuable product? And I want to touch upon that word premium. If you emphasize a premium product, it will communicate premium price, it will communicate a premium product, and it will make customers more likely to be in tune with yourselves. So let me go there. And yeah, knowing your pinch points. Let's take Oliver and Nicholas, for example. They will both have their own opinion of your product. There's nothing you can do about that. There's nothing you can change, but you can in fact use that to your advantage. Because understanding what groups are coming towards your product will help you identify pinch points. For example, I think Apple is a really good example for this. What started off as just obviously a Mac or an iPhone, let's take the iPhone for instance. They now have the 13 Pro Max, they have the Pro, then they have they have the lower models and then like the mini models. What they're basically doing is understanding the pinch points, and they know that not all customers are going to want to pay for the top price, top end phones, and they want to appeal to all their customers. So effectively, differentiating products, providing more services, is what makes customers more likely into purchasing products and makes it easier to list prices. So, design for snap judgments. People don't act rationally. What does that mean? Take a pair of loafers, for instance. If I'm going onto a website, I want to purchase a product, and I see purchase a pair of loafers, and I see a teenager wearing them, I would instantly think, the value, it's a snap judgment. It's not rational. I'll just be like, the product, it's not too good. But if I see a businessman wearing it, I instantly think, that's something worth buying, because that's immediately a snap judgment. You make an instant decision where you're thinking, that's actually it's really good now. It must be a high quality product. And I just want to leave it on this: figuring out what goes through a customer's mind when they first see your product will always help. And I just want to touch upon what I went through at the beginning: value. If you can drive value, increase the value. Setting prices, listing prices will be of ease. And the more gap you create between the perceived value and your price, selling your products will become a lot easier. So I just wanted to do this. Do you think we have time to do a quick activity?
Well, just think about it.
Or just think about it. Assessing your product's perceived value. Think about things that people think when they first encounter your product, what snap judgments they'll make, and it's visualizing their value.
We'll put this in the document. These are some good points to just, obviously with a lot of these things there's not going to be a right or wrong, and just to add to your point of, if you've only picked your price point once, it's probably wrong. Something that's complementary to that is amount of sales doesn't matter. It's revenue that matters. Right? So if you slightly iteratively make your price higher by 5%, but your amount of sales went down by 2%, that's a positive experience you just had, right? It's not just about the amount of, and through that iterative process, I understand with the different startups, it's not always the case that you can get that direct feedback, especially with nanographs. I don't know exactly how that works, but it's a good framework to have, which is just fine-tuning little by little. And understanding that just because your sales, the amount of sales that went down, doesn't mean that you're worse off. What you have to look at is revenue.
Just to be a dick about it, that doesn't work with events.
Why? Oh, with events, no, because then the perceived value also has to do with
the amount of people.
The amount of people. But what I'm saying is, that doesn't work for events.
That's what you're saying.
I need to try. I did say to be a dick about it.
You don't know, maybe.
Yeah,
if you